By now, you've undoubtedly heard the tragic news surrounding musician Mac Miller. Anytime we experience a life cut far too short, people want to know what happened. After all, some people only know him as the ex-boyfriend of Ariana Grande. We'll talk about the remarkable life of Mac Miller and how it all went wrong. Before we begin, click on the subscribe button to get more videos from TheTalko. Let's get started. Although the world knew him as Mac Miller, his birth name is Malcolm James McCormick. Besides his stage name, he also produced records under the pseudonym Larry Fisherman. He was a man with many talents and apparently many names as well. Before he settled on the name Mac Miller, he called himself Easy Mac. He grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and as a child he aspired to be a famous singer. But in high school, he began to get serious about rap and hip-hop. He had always been musically talented and could play the guitar, drums, and bass. But when he put his mind to his hip-hop career, it became the singular focus of his high school life. Because of that determination, he released his first mixtape, But My Mackin' Ain't Easy, when he was only 15 years old. He also collaborated with rapper Beatty and joined the rap group The Ill Spoken. Now that Miller was making music, he was doing so with gusto, quickly releasing mixtapes including The Jukebox, Prelude to Class Clown. Now, record labels couldn't help but notice the aspiring young star, and he was promptly signed by Rostrum Records. Because of his talent, he had many record companies vying for his attention, but he chose Rostrum because it was local and had worked with one of his idols, Wiz Khalifa. Miller once described him as a big brother, and the two had a close relationship. Among his other musical influences were Big L, the Beastie Boys, and Outkast. Later on in 2010, he embarked on the Incredibly Dope Tour, performing at sold-out venues. At the time, he was dating his high school sweetheart, Naomi Leisure. Many of his songs from 2012 to 2015 were influenced by her. While Miller looked like he was on the top of the world during this time, he was undergoing some serious struggles. In 2012, he embarked on his Macadelic tour and fought to manage the stress of his career. Unfortunately, he turned to illicit substances to manage his stress, most notably a combination of promethazine and codeine. This is sometimes called purple drank or lean, but those names failed to convey the potency of this mixture. Things got so bad that Miller claimed his friends couldn't even look at him the same. However, he managed to get clean when he started shooting his reality show Mac Miller and the Most Dope Family. But sadly, this wasn't the end of his struggles. He struggled with mental health and drug addiction frequently and even made mention of it in many of his songs. In 2014, he released his solo mixtape Faces, where he discussed his battle with depression. He sang about various drugs and noted that a drug habit like Philip Hoffman will probably put him in a coffin. Tragically, we now know he was right about that. In 2015, Miller's mental state seemed to have improved, and his album Good AM had a much more upbeat sound than his previous one. He spoke candidly about his drug use, noting that while he still used from time to time, doing it constantly had taken a toll on his body. He recorded the second session on his reality show and began working on a different type of project. Miller was working on the album The Divine Feminine and thought that Ariana Grande would be perfect for collaboration. She was featured on the track My Favorite Part, but denied the song was written for Grande. The two had worked together before on her song The Way, and both denied that they were dating. They had been good friends for quite some time, and according to Miller, whenever they got together, they felt as if no time had passed. Over time, Miller claims they both gained maturity and learned who they are. Before long, they also learned they had developed romantic feelings for one another. For a long time, Mac Miller and Ariana Grande looked like total relationship goals. Although they denied being engaged, they claimed they were ready to get married. But their relationship was not without its challenges. During this time, Grande experienced the traumatic Manchester suicide bombing at her concert in England, which left her devastated. Miller helped support her during this difficult time, and he often had to lean on her as well. Sadly, the relationship didn't last, but although they separated, it was clear Grande and Miller still had fond feelings for one another. Grande described him as one of her best friends in the whole world and claimed to respect and adore him endlessly. Apparently, his struggle with addiction had taken its toll on their relationship. Grande commented that she often felt more like his mother than his partner and couldn't be responsible for his mental health. While she loved him, the situation was just too emotionally draining for her to deal with, so she had to take a step back. It seemed as if the moment they broke up, Ariana Grande started dating Pete Davidson. The two immediately started getting matching tattoos and promptly got engaged. Some fans even speculated that their relationship had begun before she even split with Mac Miller. However, we haven't seen any evidence of this, and Miller himself didn't believe it to be the case. He simply said they were in love, but things didn't work out and they had both moved on. But soon, tragedy struck when Mac Miller was found unresponsive in his California home. Fans were shocked and many of them lashed out in their anger. Some chose to blame Ariana Grande for his death, claiming that she had made him depressed by breaking up with him. But of course, it's not fair to blame Grande for the situation. She lost someone she cared dearly for in the situation as well. Things got so bad she even had to disable comments on her Instagram account to deal with the backlash. His family released a statement acknowledging that Miller was adored by his many fans, and thanked them for respecting the family's privacy at this time. Were you a fan of Mac Miller since the beginning, or was his death the first you heard of him? Share your impressions of him in the comment section and go give one of his albums a listen. To get more videos from TheTalko, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. We'll see you next time.